I'm joining in today with our hashtag Thursday BookTube. This is hosted by our wonderful friend Daphne at My Mountain Home and Kitchen and Patty at Life with Patty. They always tell us some very interesting books, or you don't just have to do a book. You can tell about going to the library, cleaning out your bookshelf, whatever you would like to do, and just tag them and they'll go over and watch your video and they will put it on their book list. Daphne is keeping a wonderful record of that, and I've enjoyed this a lot. By the way, welcome to Mrs. Peach Thrifty Living. If I didn't say it before, I'm so happy you're here today. Today, I tried to decide. I have been listening to online a book. I think it's a book. Now, I'm not sure. I tried to see if I could find a copy of it at Amazon, and I'm not finding it. So whether it's just somebody reading the story, it was found it on YouTube. And let me tell you about it, because you might want to go and listen to some of these. This I found very interesting. It was 2 hours and a little over. I don't listen to it all at once. I listen to a little bit of it. And then later, usually when I go to bed at night, I'll listen to that. I've told you about others I've listened to, Unshackled, before. But this Cowboy Legends, that's the name of this channel. It's on YouTube. And a little story, what they said about it that made me want to read it. They left a widowed teacher to starve during winter until a Lakota hunter found and protected her. That's the title that I read, and I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. It tells about it. Excuse me if I'm looking down. I'm reading this right here. They left her behind like she didn't matter, a widowed teacher, alone and forgotten as winter tightened its icy grip. No food, no firewood, and no one to turn to. Her strength was fading fast. But just when hope seemed lost, a Lakota hunter appeared from the snow-covered trees. He didn't ask questions. He simply shared his fire, his food, and his protection. In a world that turned its back on her, he became her lifeline. And that was what they said about it. And I'll just say a little bit more about it as I continued to listen. She had stayed in her home, and her husband had owned that. And the whole town was happy that she was there teaching their children. But when her husband died, things changed. They wanted her to move on, the townspeople. They wanted her land. Determined to stay, but after she got down so low on her supplies, she knew she couldn't stay, and a storm was coming. So she set out on her own, and she was just about to the place that she was going to end up dying of thermia and starvation and all the things they do. This Lakota hunter came along. He spoke English because he had been doing some scouting for the army. So he had learned some English. And he ended up helping her. And as time went on, they had to find a place because the weather was so bad. And of course, he knew a lot about surviving in the dead of cold. And so he took her, and she didn't have any choice. At first she was afraid, but then she realized she had no choice. She's going to die there or whatever. But he was very, very kind to her. And as time went on, he began to teach her the ways of survival, and she began to help him learn to read. So it was a win-win situation. And as time went on, more and more time trying to survive the winter, and he was sharing his meager supplies with her also. It got pretty interesting, and So I'm going to leave it there. I'll leave the link if you would like to go there and check it out, because I'm getting close to the end of the book and it's been very interesting. My book I want to show you is really a booklet. I've had it in my bookshelf for years, and if you've watched my videos at all, you know I like to pick up little books that I like to read a little bit. I've done this for years, way before I ever thought about doing YouTube. Some of these little jokes are so cute. It's Oh for the Life of a Preacher. It was written by a preacher. And you know, there's a lot of things that are funny. Oh, here's a picture of him. I don't know anything about him. Let's picture. There it is. It said, I wanted to get to the end of a good life without deterring through the insane asylum. Okay, I guess they don't call it that anymore. I discovered this wonderful madness called laughter, and it saved me in many crises. So said Leon Hill. When somebody asked me what prompted him to devote the past 30 years to public speaking, Hill's compulsion to transmit the wonderful madness of laughter. He talks to every imaginable type of organization. So he's preached and told these jokes, and plus the Kiwanis Club and the different ones they name off. Born and educated in North Carolina, he came to Texas via New York and Kentucky some 35 years ago. He lives in Amarillo, is happily married, and has a son who is advertising executive in Dallas. Hill says, I have been a Baptist preacher all my conscious life. He preaches every Sunday and makes an average of 3 public speeches every week. Okay, now this is the old book, like 1975. Okay. A preacher found a dead mule on his lawn in Texarkana. He called the mayor and said, I want you to come and take this and bury this mule. The mayor said, I thought it was the business of the preacher to bury the dead, replied the preacher. But we always notify the nearest of kin. Oh my goodness. Oh, I don't know. What do you think? Oh my goodness, this brings back old memories. See this little picture right here? Okay, let me tell you about my old memory. Many years ago, my ex-husband and I, we evangelized. And many places you'd go, some of the congregation, they would get together and they'd decide, we'll have the visiting preacher over this day and we'll have it over this day. You know, that set your whole schedule up where your host, which was normally the pastor's home, you wouldn't just be there and they would have the whole burden of feeding you all week. So one week we was at a place, and I don't remember which state, I think it was Missouri. And every night we went to somebody else's home for dinner before church. And we had chicken every day. Now, at that time, I did eat chicken. You know, and now I don't eat meat. I would have been a little bit, I guess, a little bit in trouble. They always had side dishes. But we had chicken fixed every which way that week. And I wrote my mom, at that time we wrote home. We didn't call her on the phone. And I said, Mom, if you ever have a visiting preacher, don't give them any chicken. Serve them beans and potatoes or something else. Okay, that's my story. Now let's hear what this said. Last year in a revival meeting in Missouri, Missouri, they fed me chicken 3 times a day. Ooh, a day. For 2 weeks. Then call me on to lay the cornerstone for a new building. Believe me, I was ready. Right here. See that right there? I went to see a young couple I'd married. She was crying. I asked, what's the reason? She said, my husband's gone out to shoot craps and I don't know how to cook them. Okay. I asked a group of high school students to write down their favorite hymn. One girl wrote, Willie Smith. Well, there's more than one kind of hymn. Here's a cute one. A little boy had been listening to a news broadcast from an Amarillo television station. He closed his prayer with these words, "There you have it, Lord. Glad we could get together." Well, we do commune with Jesus, and I talk to him like conversations. Do you do that? You can do that too. I'm going to finish with this one. It's hard to know when to stop here. Okay, right here, this little picture right there. In Middle Tennessee, an old lady said to me, "I'm deaf and I can't hear a word you say, but I come to get my plate full." Hoping to console her, I said, "Well, maybe you haven't missed much." She said, "That's what they all tell me." Okay, you guys, I could go on, but I want you to come back for the next time. So I'll just say, go check out and see what everybody else is posting today. And I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Tomorrow I have Friday hauls. Tonight is my Bible study, and I hope we'll see if I can video it. If not, I'll try and do a little summary like I did last time, or some of the times. And I pray God blesses you. And if you wouldn't mind, see that? Like, subscribe, comment, and share. It does help me along the way. It helps YouTube to think, oh, yeah, some people do enjoy her videos, and they'll share you out more. Okay, I'm gone. Don't forget, Jesus loves you.